Welcome back, everybody, to ND and Free, the podcast brought to you by the Awareness Space Network, a podcast and social media platform that explores how NDers can live their truth and feel free in their lives. Okay, guys, we are back with another Neurodivergent Thrive Guide show where we really get to dive into ideas and tools and things that we can do to support ourselves. So I'm really excited today on the show. We have psychotherapist and counsellor Kate Hough. Kate runs her professional online therapy service, Dots Counselling and Wellbeing. Welcome, Kate, to Neurodivergent and Free, the podcast. How are you doing today? And I know you're kind of on a podcast tour, and you're sat here with me today, and I hope I hold good space for you.
Hello, hello. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here. Yeah, I am. I'm just obviously just working my way through the podcast now, but I'm very grateful to be a guest and to be able to say my bit on the space and hopefully give people a lot of tips and tricks along the way as to how they can better manage their own well-being.
You don't need to give me a big list of tools before we go here today, but generally it is, other than what you just discussed, which is helping them work through things and come to their own conclusions and to find their own answers, and you're there to guide them through that process. Do people go away with tools that they test drive? So they'll go and they'll try these tools out and they'll come back to you and go, okay. And then you work through that. So is there a lot of that, a lot of test driving going on?
Oh, absolutely. And so I would say I work in quite an integrative way. So there's a common misconception or of therapy, or people usually come to me and say, I've tried this therapist, and they sort of just sat there and went, and how does that make you feel? And for me, that has a space. Absolutely, that can have a space for some people, but for a lot of particularly neurodiverse clients, they're like, I want to do something. I want something to do. So in my sessions, I will usually, yes, explore things with the client. And most of my reviews, if you look online, will actually say that people value the fact that at the end of each session, I'll usually talk through a bit of, as we're sort of wrapping up, it'll be like, okay, between now and next time we speak, either think about this or have this in your awareness, or if you notice yourself doing that, maybe write that down, or why don't you try this kind of method of talking to that person? Or I will usually not necessarily give direct advice, but definitely, encouragement or tools and tips that they can try out, as you say, test drive. And then the following week, we'll chat about it and be like, okay, so you wrote that email in that different way, or when you were in that conversation, you actually tried this approach rather than the approach you were taking. How did you find that? What was the outcome of that? And then we build off of that. They might come back and go, that absolutely, it didn't help at all. It actually made the situation worse. And I'm like, right, okay, that clearly was not the right tool then. Let's look at something else. But even if something doesn't work or wasn't effective or didn't get the outcome that they wanted, we learn from it's still positive in the fact that we learn from that, and we know, okay, so we know that approach didn't make you feel better, so we need to try something of this angle, and it gives me more of an insight into that person, their world. So yeah, there's a lot of go, like, end the session, let's put this in place, let's implement this, let's try this out, let me know how you get on, and we will build on things from there. A bit more practical solutions, even if it's a thought process, a practical solution that people can leave a session and go, I've taken something away from that, rather than leaving a session feeling vulnerable, overwhelmed, and sort of a bit lost as to, like, right, I've just unpacked a load of stuff here, and now it's like, okay, right, see you next week. And that's just not how I work. It's not how I would want to be treated in a therapy session. So I don't do that with other people. I much prefer, let's hold this therapeutic space, let's dig up through some really rough stuff at times, and then at the end of that session, let's sort of process how that was, check in that you're feeling okay, because obviously I don't want people to leave a session feeling vulnerable. So let's see how you're feeling, check in that you're okay. What are you going to do now? What are your next steps based off of the conversation we've just had, rather than coming to therapy and being like, oh, that was a nice chat, and then forgetting about it at the moment that you end the call.
Yeah, I like that kind of people are like, oh, you mean I have to do something? People are I just, they know they're going to have to take something out for like a test drive, like I said, and see
Yeah,
how they get on with it. And it means that we are accountable. We're taking accountability and
yeah,
we are taking responsibility too. So,
yeah.
if there are things that are impacting our own health and maybe those around us, unfortunately, we have to take accountability, and it's a bit rubbish, but we kind of have to do it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of finding peace there, especially with ADHD. A big common thing is the emotional outbursts. But yeah, thank you so much for this. Like every person that comes on, we would love to have them back on. I think you and me could probably pick two topics and just we'd probably do a whole thing on RSD, to be honest. But that's for another time. But yeah, I'd love to have you back on. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and just let us know where we can find you one last time, where we can find you on social media, and how people can book you in if they want to on your website, that sort of stuff.
So I run an Instagram and a TikTok page, which is at Dots Wellbeing, so DOTS Wellbeing, where I talk all things mental health. And you can, on those social medias, you will find a link to my website, or as I say, you can just Google me at dotswellbeing.com. On there, you can see a little bit more about me, what I do, probably see me dancing around the kitchen with my dog on my Instagram. And you can also book in for therapy sessions on there. But of course, before you have to commit to anything, there is always a free initial consultation just so we can have a chat, find out a little bit more about each other and see if we'd be a good fit. But yeah, if you feel that you would like some support or just want to see me dancing around the kitchen with my dog, follow me on Instagram and TikTok.
Amazing. It's win-win. You're going to get something, which is great. But yeah, thank you so much for this. It's been really amazing. I think we've covered a lot here, and it's all really useful information. So I want to thank you so much because I know
Very
podcasting
well.
is new for you, and I just think you're an amazing guest. So please do more of it. But thank you
Thanks.
so much for coming on, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.